Hey guys, Kevin Downey from Kevin M. Downey. Thanks so much for taking the time today. Really appreciate it. This video, I want to give another example of standalone AI use, in this case, Claude, and copywriting, or in this case, resume specifically. But these videos are all about the idea of how AI works, how you can use it in your organization as a thought partner to develop different things, and all the different use cases for both owners and their employees, from leadership all the way down to, again, can be, frontline people in your organization, depending upon what they do. And AI's power is limitless. So in this case, what I want to do is talk about getting AI to write something, right? And there's different examples that I have here, and I've got some other videos on this. But in this case, we're going to talk about resume, just because I don't share client build or client work on screen or on YouTube. So I have to use our agency or just me as an example or a demo all of the time. But in this case, I want to show you the process of building something written, right? So it can be content, it could be an article, it could be whatever. But in this case, we're going to say resume. But the point in showing you this is to show you that it is a back and forth with AI, right? When you really use AI at a high level, you understand that it's not just as simple as, and sometimes it can be, it's not as simple though usually as just giving it one quick request and then it kicks you back something and it's dead on perfect. It doesn't work that way, right? AI takes a lot of learning on how to use. It's why we do our general AI training for companies. It takes a lot of training on how to interact with it and interface with it, because you have to think of it as a thought partner. That's the number one thing. I don't see that enough, I don't think, in talking about general AI standalone use, right? You have integrated AI and you have obviously agentic AI. We've talked about that in another video. But the standalone AI use is really the primary use in most organizations at this point. And it's how you can gain the most hours for employees and people, but also having a thought partner and do a lot of things where you don't have to employ or utilize or interface with other people in an organization and take their time or pay an outside resource. So in this case, we're going to talk about just writing, copywriting, in this case, specifically a resume. I hadn't done a resume in forever, right? So I've been in business for myself a long time and had a business. So I haven't looked for a job, although I think I redid my resume about a decade ago when I started my agency, or a little bit after that, just to kind of update it. But it was 10 years old. So what I wanted to do is give Claude the ability to redo my resume based on a lot of things. First, my old resume, and I still have my agency, so the employment thing was actually not that much different in terms of history, but the depth and the detail that it went into on different things changed a lot, right? Because my expertise in the knowledge base. So I fed it old resume. I fed it knowledge bases that we've created for our agency and for clients that mostly I created. Also fed it all of the AI stuff that I have worked on in the past year, and to give it that baseline and background. And then, of course, all the work that I've done with email over the years for clients in B2B and all of that stuff. So I gave it in recruiting and sales training and all that stuff. So gave it all of that information. I said, Claude, I want you to rewrite my resume for me, right? The more you give it, the more you get out of it, right? So that's what I did. And so what you have to understand about copywriting in this case, whether you're creating a final PDF or a doc or whatever it is, you've got to understand that it's a back and forth, right? There's going to be some feedback you've got to give Claude in that chat to get out of it what you want, right? And so my back and forth with Claude looks like this, right? So there's a lot of little things that it took in, and then I fed it and I gave it as backdrop and information, and it had our chat history. If you turn memory on, it has your memory about you as a user in your chat history. So that has a lot of power and value for Claude in this case, right? And then you end up with this back and forth. It creates a doc normally, and I wanted a PDF. So what do we end up with? So here's the end game, and I asked it to pull it up. Now, this is the end game of what it created in a traditional resume after a lot of back and forth and a lot of depth that I gave it in history to redo a lot of different things. The actual work history in terms of timeline didn't change from my old 10-year-old resume. I'm still the owner of this agency, right? I had this contract position as vice president of sales for a few years, and then COVID took that out. And then I was in the real estate business for 10 years, and then I was in sales in the golf industry over a couple of major positions. certifications, right? And that's as far back as I need to go on my resume. Probably could take that stuff out at this point, but it doesn't matter. In this case, what I wanted it to do is see what it would do in terms of the depth of the writing that it would give and the different things that it might bring in that I might not even think of. Right. And that is what you're doing when you're having it write for you, copyright. And it's again, think of AI as a thought partner. That is, it's back and forth. It's like someone else to talk to, like an expert at everything. So it's an expert copywriter, it's an expert software developer, it's an expert at everything, right? So you're using it as a thought partner for your specific use case. And that is the beauty of it and what it can do for you. Okay. So if you need any help with AI, reach out to us, kevinmdowney.com. You want general AI training, you have a specific integration you want to do, custom build out project. We can do that with implementation and training for you. That includes agentic AI if you need it. There's some definite use cases we're seeing out there with agentic now. But reach out to us, kevinmdowney.com. Schedule a call is in the upper right-hand corner. Thanks for being here today. Best of luck in business in 26, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.